Hello. I'm here to speak to you today about meditation. Now, meditation is highly regarded as a spiritual practice. But the problem with modern spiritual practice is that 99.99876% of spiritual guides are themselves guided by fraud or are intentionally fraudulent in their guidance. At least that is what I feel. Now I want to quickly cover, before we get on to the core of meditation, just what I mean by that about spirituality. Now, I can be quoted as saying that I do not believe in spirit or spirituality, though that is a convenient lie. The technical truth is that I do not adhere to the canonical belief of what spirituality is. I do not subscribe to the common method or ideology of spiritualism. Now, let me begin by saying that spirit is water. It is not some phenomenal element that is beyond our comprehension, unless, of course, the phenomenon of water is beyond your comprehension, which it is transparent, making it more difficult to comprehend. Now, I will not dwell overly long on the topic of water itself, other than to say that it is the element of emotion and also the element of pure magic. Not necessarily all magic, but pure magic. And when I say pure, I don't mean morally pure, I mean undiluted. So, we might say that magic takes on the form of water, but it can also take on the form of darkness, or of thunder, or of several other things. But in its pure state, it is water and water alone. Now, many of those other forms, such as thunder, is water combined with other things. For example, thunder is water combined with fire. But there are other combinations of water and fire, and other combinations of water and other things, which are also magical, but only water is just magic, and all magic. So magic is technically spirit. Spirit is technically water, and water is technically magic, for the intents and purposes of that particular reference. Now, meditation. I do not practice meditation from a spiritual perspective. No, I practice it from a physical perspective. And my meditation is not always calm. In fact, sometimes it's furious. But that's really what this video is about, is the versatility of meditation. That meditation does not need to be a spiritual practice of calm only, or not even anything that's necessarily for personal growth. Meditation is usually a form of growth, but it can even be used in good ways and bad ways, and in growth ways and anti-growth ways. Let's not forget that. So, meditation. I personally feel the only way I can teach you meditation properly is if I meditate and then tell you what I'm experiencing. So give me a moment. You can even meditate with me if you like. You can copy my hand motions, or you can do your own hand postures are a huge part of meditation for me. The Kuji-in are the ones I use most, but I also have my own hand cuts, they call them. It is my theory that meditation is like a dream. Not that it is a dream, but like one. For meditation is tapping into the subconscious mind. I point here, but I don't know where the subconscious mind is. I can tell you that it is of the wood element, which is a sub-element of earth. And that wood itself has its own system of elements, which is a bit confusing because one of the elements of wood is wood. This is based somewhat on ninjutsu theory. I believe that ninjutsu, or the art of the shinobi, is rooted in ninpo, which is the subconscious mind, and that the key to using ninjutsu in particular, or ninpo in particular, is to weaponize meditation. But that's not really what we're getting into here, is the weaponization of it. I'm just letting you know where a lot of my experience delves into. Well, I'll tell you a little bit about it, because maybe you're thinking, I mean, like a psychic attack. It's nothing like that. No. Though it could be done that way. In ninjutsu, we believe in the 5 elements of earth, fire, water, wood, and wind. These 5 elements are 5 warning flags: fear, lust, anger, greed, and sympathy. Not in that order. The first order was different from the second order. But the second order, fear, lust, anger, greed, sympathy, is in that order because that spells out flags. Flags. Fear, lust, anger, greed, sympathy. Earth is sympathy. That comes first. Fire is lust. That comes second. Water is fear. That comes third. And wood is anger. That comes fourth. And wind is greed. That comes fifth. And then it rotates, right? Earth, which is sympathy, is burned by lust, which is fire. Fire, which is lust, is doused by water, which is fear. Water, which is fear, is drank by wood, which is anger. Wood, which is anger, is calmed by wind, which is greed, which is in turn eaten by earth, which is sympathy. And it goes around and around and around. So each element is weak against its next occurring element on the cycle. So in ninjutsu, we weaponized that by, say, if someone has lust, you destroy that with fear. If someone has fear, you destroy that with anger. If someone has anger, you destroy that with greed. If someone has greed, you destroy that with sympathy. If someone has sympathy, you defeat that with lust, etc. It goes in a circle, infinitely. Now, why am I telling you this? Because those 5 elements are the 5 elements of wood, and are the 5 elements of the subconscious mind, because wood is the subconscious element, the element of dreams and sleep, and, well, maybe not so much sleep as subconscious, and meditation is the growth of the subconscious. So, being wood and being growth, you must picture it as it is a tree that stems forth. I feel, though, as though my meditation seems to come from the center top of my spine, right about here. I'm not sure if that's so, but that's what it feels like to me, as if it's growing right behind my head, up into the sky. And that's the elevation, or let's just call it elevation of meditation. The transcendence, the ascendance, right? So, if meditation is a tree, then what is the goal of meditation? Well, no tree can grow tall if it stays close to its roots. How would you imagine that scenario would play out? Well, some trees grow wide and fat. Some trees grow tall and stretched. Some trees grow round. If you prune them, which I don't recommend because you're injuring the tree, they can grow fat and round and tiny. Like a ball, like a bonsai tree. Because a bonsai tree is not a type of tree. It's a method of pruning the tree so that it grows in a very particular way. Supposedly it is, namely that it takes on the attributes of a grown tree while maintaining the size of a small tree. But I'm not so sure that's what's really being represented in that scenario. Perhaps, but perhaps not. Meditation. Meditation can be used to clear your mind. It can be used to soil your mind. Meditation can be used to expand your mind. It can be used to contract your mind. Meditation can be used to think more. It can be used to think less. I don't know if I'm saying this right, but Yokomido Bhikkhu, the guy who does Ask a Monk, he said that meditation is from the same root word as medication. That it's almost like a medicine to our thoughts. So let's work from that angle, because I think I can explain it to you from that perspective. So if meditation is similar to medication, then I would say that there's good medicine and bad medicine, and that there is medicine for one sickness and there is medicine for another, and that medicine that is meant for a common cold cannot cure cancer, and medicine that is meant for what's it called? What's that sexual disease that they didn't used to be able to cure, but now they can? Not herpes, the other one. I don't think they can cure herpes, actually. I don't know why I'm dwelling on this. Just give me a sec. Chlamydia. Medication that can cure chlamydia probably can't cure an infection on the skin, like a bacterial infection. Right? Bacteria is different from a virus. There's different types of diseases that have different types of cures. So meditation can be used, and we can use those medicines properly and improperly. We'll say with meditation as medication. If you take the wrong medication, you won't get better. You might even get more sick. If you take the wrong meditation, you probably won't get better. You might even get more sick. So what's the right and wrong meditation? Well, now that's a complicated question. Just in the same way that there's a right medicine for each illness, supposedly, there's a right meditation for each mental illness. Or it's not even necessarily an illness. You say if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But meditation, unlike medication, isn't always to fix something that's broken. Sometimes it's just to advance or grow something, or as they say in Asian countries, to cultivate something that needs to sprawl and grow. But it can be applied in a somewhat medical fashion. And it should be done in the way that makes you healthier. I will give you that. Without interjecting too much of my opinion, I would say that medicine and meditation should be done always in the way that makes you healthier than when you started. If you're meditating and getting less and less healthy, you're probably doing something very wrong. So, meditation does not only affect the subconscious mind, it is just as much of a physical transformation. Now, does that mean your face will change or your skin will glow more or become more matted? No. It might. But it's more every interaction you have with everything changes you physically, mentally, and emotionally, and of course spiritually. And a video I was just watching says that something very important. We like to pretend that the physical, the spiritual, and the mental are all three different things when they're not. They're one thing. Your body is you. And this is me. And sure, there's extension of my body, right? The magnetic field and whatnot, but that can be shed and regrown, and just like a fingernail, that can be expanded, contracted, all kinds of things. But for the most part, my flesh, my bones, my skin, this is me. It's not someone else. It has to be part of me. This is what I was born as. This is what I am. Don't tell me I'm just my spirit. This is me. This is what I'm made of. Even the water that I refer to as being spirit is part of my physical makeup, part of who I am. So don't tell me that I'm just a spirit in a shell body. Don't let them take your right to your body away from you. Your body is you. Don't let people tell you you're not your body. Your body is a huge part of you. It's the main part. It's probably the only part. Don't distance yourself from your body like it's just a vessel or a shell. Don't think that you can just discard it and throw it away. It's you. It's part of you. It's who you are. It's your face, your eyes, your mouth, your tongue. That's what you taste with and see with and smell with. You think you can get around without that? Why do you think ghosts leave their body after they're dead? Because they don't need it anymore, because they're dead. You need your body to live your life. So don't go thinking that it's not important. It's your life, it's your body. Anyway. Meditation is a physical act, and it's also a mental act. And it may, on some levels, even be a spiritual act, as being a tree and has to consume water. Which is done mostly probably just by you drinking water, but, some of that water is going to get used up if you're growing a metaphysical tree out of your back. So, what am I getting at? This is so abstract, it's hard to even touch base on. I know a lot about meditation, but I'm having trouble communicating to you. Maybe I should just talk about just different types of meditation I know. So one is to go straight up. Just meditate higher and higher until you reach the top. That's the most basic kind. Makes perfect sense, right? You want the tree's canopy to be nice and high. If no tree can grow tall, if it stays close to its roots, you just want to go as far away from the root as possible, the tippy tip top. And that's the highest meditation, right? Nothing wrong with that. That's where the ninja evolves into the monk, or whatever. You become even higher level and go from meditation to monk meditation, right? That's perfectly fine, totally awesome even. But then you can get more advanced. Then what if you want the tree to have thicker roots, or a broader trunk, or sprawl wider into more areas? Right? There are more holy classes than just a monk. What if you wanted to become a cleric, or a priest, or an abbot, or what's it called? A pastor, or a bishop, or a cardinal, or an angel, right? Something holy, something great, something grand, right? And obviously, if the tree absorbs itself and goes inside out and goes down rather than going up, that would be the demonic spectrum, like warlocks and demons and evil and stuff like that. You don't want that, so you want to go up. Up is the healthier direction for meditation. Down is the less healthier direction, just because a tree is meant to grow up, and the subconscious mind, which is the part of you responsible for meditation, is wooden. I think I'm making my point finally, 20 minutes into the video. So, if we're trying to go up, but we can take zigzag patterns, or sprawl out like a bush, or grow up like a tree, or we can grow wide or skinny, what do we really want to do? What does all that really mean? Well, if we go straight up, what do we get out of that? We get pure holiness, right? Undiluted. Okay, well, we're reaching for the higher power. Okay, fine, that's great, that's awesome. I absolutely want to reach for the higher power. I want to become the higher power. That's good, and you should get that out of the way first. Straight up, stay there. Meditate up there, you can go even higher than that with the monk meditation. Go even higher than that. Nothing wrong with that. But what if you've done that and you still want to meditate? Then you got to pick a direction. Okay, well, if we're staying in the good spectrum, going up, and we got only two other choices to make. We can lean this way, right, to our left arm, and we can go further into order. Or we can lean this way to our right arm and go further into chaos. Now, I recommend chaos only because order is more putting things in their place and their final resting place, more related to death. And chaos is more making things, right? Chaos generates answers that we didn't have before, things that didn't previously exist. It can be dangerous, but as long as we're going up and staying in the good spectrum, we can go a bit to the right, and we only get good chaos, right? We go up and to the right, we get good chaos. If we go down to the right, we get bad chaos. Which means that if we go up and to the left, even with order, even though it's more related to death, it's still going to be on the good side of it. It's just death is detrimental. So we still want to avoid that if we can. So up and to the right. No. What about forward and backward, right? Well, going forward, we're looking ahead. We're looking ahead of ourselves into the future, right? We're going to the next concurrent path. That would be the masculine energy. It's going to lead us forward into our path. And then the regressive energy is feminine. It's going backward into... Wait, did I say forward into the path? Forward into our path. Forward into the future. And then the feminine energy is going backward into the past. It's taking us back where we came from. Is that a bad thing? No, not at all, actually. As a matter of fact, if we were on a bad path and going in the wrong place, maybe going back is exactly what we need. But it is a regression, and it will take us back to a more... a time of origin, a time of... when things were not as developed or as far along as they are now. So we will regress or go the opposite way of progress. Does that mean it's negative or bad? No, actually, it's the positive one out of the two magnetisms. And it's a healing one as well, whereas going forward is destructive. So if we want, we can even remain neutral on that particular path. We can remain neutral on any one of these paths, or even two of them. But in order to meditate, we should take at least one path or the other. But actually, that opens up an interesting idea. Because if we did a neutral meditation, that would allow the tree to grow in like a massive clump. But it's not that it wouldn't grow. It would just be like a fluid energy. Which I don't recommend. I recommend always going up rather than staying the same. But that would be like an idle meditation. Like a state of waiting or preparing for something. So perhaps in preparation for going up or in a given other direction, a neutral and idle state would be better. Just for the preparation. And of course, being idle is always better than being evil. So if the other option is to go straight down into yourself, I would say stay idle. Just rest on that point. That brings up another issue as well. We can remain partially in the energy as well. So say we only wanted to go halfway up. Instead of all the way to the top, just wanted to stop about here or about there. That's also doable. So if we want to remain neutral on any of these three fronts, we can. Or if we want to grow off forward and to the right and up, which is my particular choice, we can do that too. Asymmetry does have its value, and so does symmetry. This is what I meant about it being open and abstract. Now, once I put all that into perspective, you can imagine, of course, that you could have a tree that grows in all sorts of directions, going every which way, or even a vine climbing a fence or something like that, right? Anything wooden could qualify as meditation. So, how will we go about this? Well, the simplest meditation hand posture, and one of the more versatile, is called Zen. This is the way I do it. There's a few different versions of it. This is the way I do it. I place my right hand out like this, and I place the fingers of my left hand on top of my right hand's fingers, and then I connect my thumbs. This is called Zen. It's used for doing Zen meditation, which is one of the most powerful forms of meditation. Now, it's meant to be held just around the navel, or even below it, or even below your belly. I have a big belly though, so sometimes I can't hold it below there unless I'm sitting down. It can easily go here as well. It's a bit above my navel, but it's fine. Not very good to do it way up here by the chest. You want your hands to at least go lower than your elbows, usually. At least a little bit. That's probably the simplest one. There are several others, such as this, and this, and this, and even this. Even just that is a meditation hand sign that's commonly used. They all have different purposes, and you can find your own. You can just do this. This is the monk hand sign. I call it the Buddha's palm. I don't know what other people call it. You can do it with both hands, or you can do monk meditation, like I was saying before. It's done by putting the monk hand seal on top of a regular open palm, like that. And then as you breathe out, you simply press down into the breath. Very cool stuff. But yeah, I guess it has more to do with picking a direction than anything else. And you just gotta pick the direction that's right for you. I hope you're not part of the demonic spectrum. If you are, I guess that's what you have to meditate on, unless you're trying to change and become higher. But I hope that you'd prefer to go up rather than down, no matter what, because what's the point in going down? Now, there is another saying, right? I say that no tree can grow tall if it stays close to its roots. There are those who say, in my opinion, less sensibly, that no tree can reach its branches all the way into heaven unless its roots go all the way into hell. But I'm against that philosophy. I feel that it detracts your motion and your sense highly. Because what's the value of aiming down? Perhaps doing so, filling out the whole cube, rather than just going in one direction or the other, would give you some kind of omniscience or omnipotence. But what is the price of that power? What is the cost of being all-powerful? Are you willing to hurt yourself and wreck your life just in order to gain strength so you can feel as though you're an unbeatable, unfathomable God? Or are you more about the higher path and just trying to be the best you can be?